Hi guys, the pink background has made its return, and so is my shirt, so I probably look a little bit like a floating head, but it's fun. It's fun. So, you might have read the title of this video, and if you're a subscriber thought, well, you've already made a couple of videos, which is true, but I still don't have a lot of subscribers at the time that this video is going up. So I don't care, I'm still gonna make a video about this tag. So this tag is kind of long and I'm afraid I'm gonna ramble as I tend to do. So let's just get into it. Okay, the first question is, how did you find out about Authortube? So I don't know which video of hers I found first, but if you've watched more than like one video on my channel, you'll know that I am a fan of the author/YouTuber Jenna Maressi. And after I first found her channel and she talked a lot about marketing yourself and you know how important that is, and how important it is to start like an author platform, I decided I would start a YouTube channel because it is a less saturated marketing platform than a blog. That is, most authors have a blog, and although there's a fair amount of authortubers and the community is slowly but steadily growing, there are less than there are like author blogs. I guess I stumbled across her. I don't even know what craft advice I was looking for on YouTube that day, but this was in like the throes of writing the first draft of TPL, and I found her and I just started binging her. And I went down a rabbit hole that I have yet to come out of. Question 2 is, what genres do you write in? So TPL is young adult fantasy. If you want to know more about it, you can watch the video here. I'm going to put it in the cards, all about my work in progress. But quick summary, it's about a 15-year-old girl living with a disability who finds out she has magic. And she has to learn not only how to use magic, but has to find out who is selling information about her to the big bad in order to stop them from killing her. After TPL, I already have a couple of other fantasy series floating around in my mind. So I would say I write a lot of fantasy, but across different categories, so different age groups, but almost exclusively fantasy for now. Number 3, what is your preferred tense, point of view, and category of story? So for both reading and writing, I preferred third person limited. I will read first person, but I do not like writing in first person. It feels very odd to me personally to write it, and I also just generally prefer reading third person limited. I don't know why. The use of I couldn't give you a satisfactory reason as to a why. I prefer third person, both reading and writing. I do. For point of view, I don't care. Personally, writing, I like to I don't even care. So the one TPL is just from my main character, Frida's perspective. And I always knew the story was always going to only be from her perspective. I never wanted to have multiple point of view in this book, but the series that I think I'm going to write after that, I think would be 2 point of views. I love Brandon Sanderson, and he usually uses multiple point of views, especially in my favorite series by him, Way of Kings, has got a bazillion perspectives, and I really like that. I don't really care as far as reading goes, or really writing. Whatever I think works for the story I'm trying to tell is what I would write. And as for category of story, writing, young adult to adult, all is good to me. I've never tried middle grades. I'm not opposed to it. I don't know that I'd be good at it. I think it's actually really hard to write a good middle grade story, but I wouldn't be opposed to trying it myself. And then as far as reading goes, I prefer reading adult, which is terrible to say because I write YA, and I do love a good YA book. I don't think there's anything wrong with YA. I think there's a lot of potential to be had in that genre. There's a lot of tropes that plague the genre that I don't care for. And so it can be hard for me to read in that genre if I'm constantly going to be afraid that the tropes that I hate are gonna show. Question number 4 is, are you a plotter, pantser, or a plantser? I don't know how to answer this question in this point of my writing career. 2 months ago, I would have said hardcore I was a plantser. I'm not a pantser. I need more to go on than that, for sure. And I planted TPL, but I'm having growing pains, revising pains right now. So for the unentitled second installment in what I'm currently calling the Legacy Saga, I'm gonna try plotting it out a lot. I might hate it. I don't know. I'll keep you updated. For now, I'm between a plantser and a plotter, because I don't know. Number 5, are you self-published, published as in traditionally published, or yet to be published? I am yet to be published, but as I've said in a couple videos before, I do hope to be traditionally published. I have my reasons for this, and I plan on making a whole video as to why I personally think traditionally publishing for my first, at least my debut novel, is the right choice. Eventually, one of these days, we'll get there. Number 6, and I'm going to have to read this one, I can't just remember the whole thing. What publishing company, literary agent, and or printing company do you use or are represented by? And if you are not yet published, what is your dream publishing company or literary agent? This one's kind of difficult. I have an agent that I really, really adore. I think she has represented some really amazing books, and I think she's super sweet on social media, but I don't really want to say who it is, just because if I query her and she says no, and I have a different agent, I feel like everybody will know that she said no. And I don't want that kind of embarrassment on the internet. As far as my dream publishing house, I'll just tell you, I'm a really, really, really big fan of Tor. I would be happy to be published by literally like any, Big 5 major or reputable small publisher. Seriously, I would be happy to get any legitimate good book deal for myself, but I think that Tor puts out a lot of really, really good books. A lot of my, favorite authors have been published by Tor, and I really, really like them as a publishing company. If you don't know, they've published a lot of Brandon Sanderson's works. They published Susan Dennard, who has really been getting me through this painful revision process. They published Brian Stavely, whose first book I'm reading right now, and it's super good. If you don't know who he is, oh my god, Vampire Blades, you gotta read it. It's so good. He's killing me. And I just think that they've put out a lot of good books. I like the way they look. I think they're a great publishing house. So if I was gonna pick one, it would be Tor, but I'm really not gonna be that picky, because I think that's a way to really shoot your chances in the foot. Number 7, what Authortube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? Great question. I'm asking this as if somebody specific has asked me. This is a writing tag. I hope to make a lot more world building videos in the future. In case you are new to the channel, I have a deep, passionate love for world building. It's one of my absolute favorite things of all time to do and to read. And so I want to make a lot more craft videos about how to world build and just about the whole process in general, where to keep all of it, the basics, the steps, every aspect you can world build. I love world building. Other than that, I like making craft videos. I'm probably going to start doing season favorite videos because I love favorite videos. I might start doing more bookish videos too. I don't know. I haven't really decided yet. And I would expect to see world building videos and videos documenting the process of finishing my first book, querying it, and then hopefully getting a book deal. Number 8, when did you start writing? God only knows. The first piece of creative writing I can ever remember doing was in 7th grade. But I am so sure I started writing on my own before that. I loved reading a lot as a child. I'm sure I probably wrote Harry Potter fan fiction as a child when I was young, and by sure I mean I know I did. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wrote a lot of Harry Potter fan fiction. But who of us authors who like Harry Potter did not at one point write Harry Potter fan fiction? Don't lie to me. I know you did. So I'm gonna say like a tentative 12, 11, 12, probably around there, somewhere in there. Number 9, going off that, is what is the first story you ever wrote? I'm gonna go with the one that was the one I remember most clearly from 7th grade. I had just finished reading The Two Princesses of Bamar. It's this one. I'm gonna put a picture of the book here because I just don't remember the exact title, but it's by Gail Carson Levine, who wrote Ella Enchanted. In early middle school, late grade school, early middle school, I was just obsessed with Gail Carson Levine. I read Ella Enchanted, and then from there, she was the only author I wanted to read for so long. And then I read Goose Girl and The Princess Academy and that younger middle grades YA gray zone a lot that was targeted specifically at girls. And Gail Carson Levine was my girl. I loved her. I have read everything she published through 2015. I read her for a long time. I would read I still have all of her books. I've read almost all of them, and I just saw she's published a couple more books and a prequel to The Two Princesses of Bamar, so I'm definitely going to have to go back and check those out. If any of you have read them, please tell me. But after I read that, this is such a tangent. After I read that, we had a short story assignment in class, and so I wrote sort of an inspired by. So those of you who haven't read The Two Princesses of Bamar, one of the princesses falls ill, and her sister goes on a journey to find something to heal her and stop her from dying. So I wrote a story. I don't remember really what it was about all that much, other than the main character had to go get an apple from a really special tree that would save, her brother's life or something like that. And then, some villain was trying to stop her so that whoever was going to die was going to die. And I named him Maverick, which I thought was the funniest, most clever thing in the world, because I had just learned what the word Maverick meant. And I thought that I was a brilliant genius. Question number 10 is, what authors have inspired your writing the most? Oh, I think one that'll shock literally no one is J.K. Rowling. She is inspiring for plenty of people, me included. She is the reason I like writing low fantasy so much, as in a fantasy world within our world as opposed to high fantasy, which is in another world. I like low fantasy a lot. I think it is really, really good at the YA age, because I think personally high fantasy can be a little bit more difficult for younger readers, and I'm aiming towards a 13 to 16 age, the younger age for the YA spectrum, and so I think low fantasy works really well for that age. I think it's really interesting, it's really fun, and I remembered wanting to get my letter to Hogwarts like so many kids do, and so it's kind of if it's in a low fantasy setting, there is this chance to really dream that it could be out there in this world, because it's set in our world, you just don't know about it, which I think is it's so much fun. And so I can't say that Harry Potter didn't super inspire me. And then other than that, absolutely no shock to anybody, Tolkien's a big inspiration for me. He's a big inspiration for every fantasy writer, whether they know it or not. He started the trends and the tropes, and he made it up. Like, you gotta pay your homage to him. He's got his issues, but like, you gotta give the man the respect he deserves. Brandon Sanderson, again, no shock. Like, y'all know I love him. He has changed me as a person, as a reader, as a writer. I love him. My dream is for him to one day watch one of my videos and know that I exist and how much I love him and how much he means to me. And then other than that, I just started reading Truth Witch in the Witchlands series by Susan Dennard. So I can't say that her writing has inspired me, so like her creative writing, so much as like her blog posts about writing and her revision process are undeniably what got me through a really, really bad slump right during the revision process when I was, getting betas and having people read my work for the first time and starting to really connect to other author friends and having a lot of self-doubt and anxiety about my own talents as a writer, because I think that there are so few opportunities for people to read other people's first drafts in the writing community, and I get why. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it makes it really hard when you are looking at your writing and you know it's not as strong as the person you're reading's writing is, and so it's really difficult to remind yourself that you might not be on the same step of the revision process, or that honestly, it doesn't matter if your first draft is really good. All that matters is that you can revise it into something good. That's why revision is really amazing. But there was just a blog post by Susan Dennard, and if you follow my Instagram, you would know I've already gushed about this, that really got me through this pit that I had fallen into where I didn't want to revise and I didn't want to touch my work because I lacked so much confidence in what I was writing and my ability to create something worthwhile and something good. And her blog post was like, I'm not a good writer. My first drafts are terrible, but I am a really good reviser. And I was like, me. Or it can be me. I don't have to write a really nice first draft, second draft, third draft. It just matters that I have a draft eventually that is good. And if I revise well, I can get there, and that's all that matters. And she's a fucking saint. Susan, if you're watching this, I love you. Number 11, do you schedule your writing time, or do you write when you have the time? I am a write when I have the time kind of person, because who knows when I have the time, my work schedule changes. I'm a waitress. Question number 12, do you use a typewriter, a computer, handwriting, or a blend of all of those things to write? I hesitate to say I'm a blend, but I almost exclusively write on a computer. But I do sometimes do handwriting, especially when I am struck with the inspiration for something like a scene or world building or something or whatever. And I always have a notebook on me. Like, I'm a notebook fiend. I love notebooks. I have way too many. I'm purging them when I move. But so I always have a notebook on me, and I have one that is specifically for world building and one that's specifically for writing scenes, because I'm like crazy when it comes to how many notebooks I have, so I might as well just, use different ones for separate things and put them to use. So when I get inspiration, I just kind of like pull it out and like write what I was thinking about wherever I am. Like I'll blend in that sense, but I wouldn't write like detailed like whole chapters by hand, because that's just like a whole extra step process, because then you've got to get it in the computer, and I don't have time for that shit. And the final question 13, is what are you most looking forward to now that you are on Authortube? And that is literally just like, I want more author friends, please. Okay, so that is all of the questions on the Authortube Newbie Tag. I'm going to tag anybody watching this who has not done it yet and wants to do it, because I have no idea which of my author friends have done this already, and I'm not going to look it up like right now. That's a lot of effort. So if you are watching this and you haven't done it and you want to, I'm tagging you. But otherwise, that is all I got for you guys today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!